Q2 this morning. We're just wondering he went even quicker. Marquez and Pekka Bagnaia with the mixed and soft rear tyre. Green flag then cleared at the back. Lights out, and we're racing in the sprint here in Brno. Pekka Bagnaia's made a sensational start from third place on the grid. Ayagura's going the wrong way. Bagnaia surely will have the whole shot. Moreira aggressive on the inside, and Bezzecchi into the first corner as well. Moreira's going to be third as he going through that first corner. He leans on Fabio the Gianantonio on the inside, but a dream launch from Pekka Bagnaia. He leads here in Brno.
Yeah, Bezzecchi got a great immediate launch, but I think he might have had to shut off the throttle a bit because the gap was closing in front of him. He ended up dropping a place. Moreira up the inside, up to Gianantonio. That's Marc Marquez also attacking Bezzecchi.
And also, yeah, you can see there, Marc Marquez has got through on Digi then on that flip-flop. An aggressive change of direction through 3 and 4. Bagnaia has a lead by over a tenth of a second. There he is. Downhill we go then. Hard braking into turn 5. Into the stadium section for the first time. Moreira a little bit hot on the brakes there. Into 5.
Yeah, the factory Ducatis have to go on the attack in this early stage because they are on that soft rear tyre. So no surprise that Bagnaia's hit the front, and no surprise that Marc Marquez was getting his elbows out early on, because surely they are going to hit late trouble. So they need to make hay while the sun shines here.
So we are still awaiting Ayagura to lead for the first time in MotoGP. How much longer will he have to wait? Further down the order, 2 other Aprilias are going toe-to-toe. That's Fernandez versus Martin. They're battling at the back end of the point scoring places, 8th and 9th.
Yeah, Jorge Martin then is 2 places behind his teammate Marco Bezzecchi. He'd have taken that, he'd offered him that at the end of the first lap. There's another rider between them now though, with Fernandez going through. So up Power Hill we climb. Pekka Bagnaia, the experienced head, with 2 young chargers, Agura and Moreira right behind him. Of course,
Moreira. Sorry, we've got crashes there. Well, we've got is Maverick Vinales has taken a tumble at turn 12 as he was trying to get the power on going up through Horsepower Hill. He was in the gravel with somebody else.
I think it was, as well. Was it Moreira, wasn't it? Moreira's gone missing out of third place. Diogo Moreira is indeed out. He was down a picture. He was just chasing. He was just lining up a move on Ayagura, and Moreira's crashed out of third place.
Well, early drama, early heartache then for Diogo Moreira, who was inside of that top 3. That's a free hit then for Marc Marquez, who moves into the medal positions. A rather frustrating trudge away for Moreira. So too for Maverick Vinales. At the front then, at the end of that first lap of 10, Bagnaia's advantage over Agura was almost 0.2 of a second. The Gianantonio trying to get his claws back into Marc Marquez directly ahead of him.
Bezzecchi struggling at this early stage to get himself up to speed. Now you'll see it from the overhead shot. Third bike in your picture. Look, he's just trying to line up Ayagura for a move, and the front end tucks midway through, and Maverick Vinales is just going to appear into picture and have his own accident.
Oh, that's cruel for Diogo Moreira. We saw him make a mistake. He ran in hot at turn 5 on the first lap, right here on the first circuit of this Brno track. At the front then, Bagnaia looking pretty comfortable as he stretches his lead over Agura through the first sector to just over a quarter of a second. The Gianantonio is really starting to close in on Marc Marquez's rear tyre, isn't he?
So we've not got the graphics on screen at the moment, but we can tell you that it's Bagnaia, Agura, Marc Marquez, Digi, Bezzecchi, Acosta, Fernandez, Martin, Bastianini is the current point situation. Binder's up to 10th, ahead of Mir and Aldeguer, who, despite the 2 dropouts ahead of him, Aldeguer's had a poor first lap. He's actually dropped a spot to 12th.
So down through the Kevin Schwantz corner for the second time of asking. Lowest part of this Brno circuit. Now you start this sharp climb up through Horsepower Hill. Horsepower not lacking for Ducati and Aprilia in this particular part of this 5.4 kilometre course. Bagnaia great there, getting some superb drive grip, lowers the rear ride height device. Nothing that Agura can do. Agura just seemed to be content to play the patient game.
I think that's all he has to do here. I say all he has to do, making it sound very easy, but the rider ahead of him and the rider behind him are both on the soft rear tyre. Ayagura surely is thinking here, if I just stay with Pekka Bagnaia, I'm bound to have the superior late sprint grip, because the next rider in the race behind Marc Marquez, who's on the soft rear tyre, is Joan Mir in 11th.
Hot pace at the front as Ralph Fernandez goes in wide in the first corner. That's allowed Martin to sweep on through. Hot pace at the front, 52s from Bagnaia and Agura. They're the only riders in the 52s at the front of this sprint. 52.641 from Pecco. Was 0.3 quicker than Agura. Now, the Gianantonio is going to have to try and get on with business here, because he's going to have to be wary, stuck behind Marc Marquez as he has been, about front tyre temperature, about front tyre pressure issues. And if he's going to try and hunt down Bagnaia and Agura, can't afford to spend too much time behind the 93, although catching Marc Marquez is certainly one thing, getting past him a completely different equation.
Yeah, Marc Marquez has got as many sprint medals, so as many gold medals as anyone else. It's a bronze he's currently holding on to at the moment in third place. Doesn't at the moment appear to have the pace to go with Bagnaia and Agura up ahead of him, as we now ride on board with Fabio Di Gianantonio. Already at this stage, he's a second and a half off the lead.
Pecco Bagnaia has not won a sprint since the Malaysian Grand Prix in Sepang on our flyweight tour at the tail end of 2025. He is the only rider so far this season. He's found consistency on sprint Saturdays. The only rider in the first 8 sprints that scored points in all of them. But he has yet to pick up a gold medal. A trio of second place finishes, silver medals in Austin, Jerez and Le Mans.
Bezzecchi still hasn't really gathered much momentum in this sprint. In 5th place, he's half second off the back of Fabio Di Gianantonio, and he's actually under a bit of pressure. We're behind Di Gianantonio here. The rider maybe behind us is Bezzecchi, but he's not exactly close behind us. He's got Pedro Acosta in very close company. Here it is, this battle for 5th place.
Bagnaia might be able to second clear at the end of this lap 3. He's 9/10 clear through sector 3 over Agura. He comes over the line now. That's successive fastest laps here. This is electric pace at the front of the sprint by Bagnaia. 52.6 on the last lap, a 52.5 on the last circuit. And he is 9/10 clear of Agura. Now, we know what happened in the Italian Grand Prix in Mugello, didn't we? We know what happened there when Agura came from a mile back, sent it on the inside of Bagnaia at the final corner in the Grand Prix before Pecco squared him off. A real good tactical ride that by Pecco Bagnaia. But Bagnaia will know potentially what is coming.
And we also know what happened in Austin, Texas early on in the season when Bagnaia led almost all the sprint, as now Martin goes up the inside of Pedro Acosta, so he's now right behind his title rival Bezzecchi. But Bagnaia led all of the sprint in Austin and then was picked off on the final lap by an Aprilia on the medium rear tyre.
Acosta dishing it straight back to Martin. Love this. He is some scrapper, isn't he? Some fighter. As Martin goes back on the inside of Acosta through 6. Through 7 goes Acosta, who looks down there, doesn't he? On the top of the tank of the factory KTM. So that's been some duel. We've seen Pedro Acosta go handlebar to handlebar, knee to knee with Marc Marquez on a few occasions so far this season. This time he's having a real good tussle with Jorge Martin. I have to say that Martin's doing a pretty good damage limitation job, championship-wise, in this sprint so far. Not losing big points, is he, to Marco Bezzecchi?
Yeah, we'd only lose a couple. If you put the flag out now, the gap would be 22 points heading into tomorrow's Grand Prix, where, of course, he has the double long lap penalty to serve. The lead for Bagnaia is now over 1 second. It's 1.1 3/4 of the way through this lap. But interestingly, Agura just dropping back slightly in the direction of Marc Marquez in second place. Agura now 6/10 clear of Marc Marquez, but 1.1 back of Bagnaia leading.
Well, the only 2 riders in the first 3 rows of this grid on the soft rear tyre were Pecco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez, first and third respectively. Ducati pulled off a bit of a tactical masterstroke here. Bagnaia still stuck in the 52s, 52.5, 52.6, now followed by a 52.9, and Marc Marquez is picking up his rhythm as well. Marquez is warming up. That body now, that right shoulder's come to him. He's in the 52s as well. On that last lap, Marc Marquez was the quickest rider on circuit.
Well, we've already seen through this weekend Marc Marquez put sprint distance on a soft rear tyre and still set personal best lap times at the end of it. So Marc should be pretty confident in what he's got underneath him, even if he's got a softer tyre than the rider immediately up ahead of him. So the world champion just getting himself quietly into contention here for a potential second place.
Yeah, Digi has had nothing for Marc Marquez. Got on his rear tyre, didn't he? A couple laps to go, but not able to find a way through at the moment. He has not got the same pace as the 93 ahead of him. Digi back in the low 153s, which is more than respectable pace, but not pace enough to get himself a medal at this stage. Firmin Aldeguer, Ralph Fernandez and top at Raz Gatlioglu have all got track limits warnings to contend with. The helicopter shot then picks up Bagnaia. That gap is just starting to creep down ever so slightly. Just under 0.8 of a second Agura has found as we drop down now into the Kevin Schwantz corner, turn 10, hard on the brakes.
Of course, this could all easily just swing around. If that soft rear tyre starts to cry enough, the medium should be absolutely fine for Agura. And is Agura just basically pacing himself in this sprint? We're not even at half distance yet in this Tissot sprint. This is lap 5 of 10, so we'll be at half distance when we complete this lap. And is this Bagnaia slowing down, or is this Agura speeding up? We'll get our answer at the end of the lap.
Well, he's taken 3/10 pretty much out of Bagnaia already on this lap. This is lap 5 of 10. You can just see visibly, can't you, Agura closing in on Bagnaia, and so too Marc Marquez is coming along for the ride as well, isn't he? Over the line we go. That's Bagnaia's slowest lap of the sprint so far. He was half a second almost slower than Agura, and Marc Marquez 52.8 from Agura, and Marc directly behind Pecco Bagnaia. So, yeah, there might be some bother brewing here for Bagnaia if he's not careful.
Yeah, and we've got a 53.1 for Gian Antonio. He is the third fastest rider on the track, but not exactly in any position to impact the podium battle at the moment. Still surprised by the Aprilia factory pace here of Bezzecchi and Martin in 5th and 7th. Bezzecchi's doing 53.6s in 5th place. He's 0.3 of a lap slower than Bagnaia, but he's 0.8 slower than Agura.
Do you know what? Marc Marquez is up for this. Marc Marquez is closing in on Agura. Agura himself is charging towards the rear tyre of Bagnaia, but as mentioned, coming along for the ride is Marc Marquez. Do not discount the reigning world champion out of back-to-back sprint wins here in Brno. Into the stadium section we go. Trail braking Bagnaia, then through turn 8. He'll flick it hard right through one of the S sections here in Brno. And then you're hard on the power, accelerating up to 5th gear. Almost 300 kilometers an hour as you drop down the hill, plunge down the hill into turn 10. Just look at this, some ride this one's gained, is it, by Marc Marquez on that Michelin soft rear tyre. He has not given Gian Antonio a single sniff in 4th.
Personal best on the last lap too for Raul Fernandez and Enea Bastianini there, 8th and 9th. Fermin Aldeguer gained 2 places on the last lap. He passed both Brad Binder and Joan Mir. He's now up into 10th, and he's closing quickly now on the points.
Somebody's gone down at turn 11. Gone down. It's Pedro Acosta. Pedro Acosta's had a pretty miserable weekend so far. His Friday morning, his first sprint win of 2026, his first since Sepang last year. His lead is over 0.3 of a second.
Has to be said, it's going to take something special from here for Agura, but he has had a pretty special weekend so far. Here's the big change potentially going to come for 2nd place. Can Marc Marquez make this a factory Ducati 1-2 on the last lap?
Agura's not going to be close enough. This is a big overtaking opportunity here on the brakes into turn 3. He's nowhere near close enough to attack Bagnaia. Bagnaia has been rock solid at the front of this sprint. He has led it from the very first corner. Agura, what has he got left in the tank? Is there anything that the Trackhouse Aprilia rider can do?
Would be a first sprint podium for Agura, but he didn't sign for silver when he took pole position earlier on today. Gian Antonio not exactly getting close enough in the background. He is still in a very solid 4th place. It is down to this leading 3 for the bronze, gold and silver medals today.
This has been pure class by Pecco Bagnaia. Absolutely pure class. This is a throwback to the Pecco Bagnaia of 2022, 2023 and 2024, isn't it? Still pressure is being thrown at him by Agura, but he's running out of corners, he's running out of time here, the Trackhouse Aprilia rider. We're going to go down the hill then now, charging downhill into turn 10. This is another overtaking hotspot that is going to go away for Agura. There's about half a dozen bike lengths between him and Pecco Bagnaia.
Bagnaia was perilously close to the green on the outside of turn 7, but I don't think he touched it, because that could also impact on the action. But if he doesn't get a good run out of Horsepower Hill here, I think Agura's going to have to settle for 2nd place.
Perfect drive up Horsepower Hill out of turn 11 for Pecco Bagnaia. He will hear the Trackhouse Aprilia behind him, but Agura's going to have to give this one up. He is nowhere near close enough. If Pecco Bagnaia nails this final 2 corners, he's going to nail his first sprint win since the Malaysian Grand Prix. Golden Eye has to settle for silver, but the gold medal goes to Pecco Bagnaia. What a